What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to week one college football. Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming week one schedule, what we see, what we hope we see, what we're going to hope we see, and all kind of other fun stuff. So appreciate you guys for being here. Thanks so much for coming back after the off season. Wow, so glad that's over. Now that we've got the week zero carnage out of the way, we can actually talk about some real football. Man, there is so much to talk about. It's going to be a great season. University of Georgia starting off with kind of a soft season start, and that's fine. We're perfectly okay with that. In a little while, we are going to open up the show. If you guys want to come on, we're going to throw a link into the chat so you guys can join the show if you like. We talk about anything you want to talk about college football related. So, first and foremost, let's give a shout out to all those who showed up to the show. First, number one in the chat, first comment, Jay Shipes. Welcome back to the show, sir. My friend and fellow Gilligan confronter. We'll talk about that later. Georgia Bulldogs, thanks you for being here. So much for being here. Michael Porter, how you doing? Zephyroth, thank you so much for being here as well. Texas Rock, Slim Shady, Canes, Derek, and Michael Porter. So glad to see you here, Mr. Porter. Well, guys, as you can see, college football is upon us. It is that time. It is time once again for fall to fill the air, for the smoker to start rolling, for college football to be on the TV all day Saturday from noon until midnight. We get to have our fair share finally once again. So as you guys know, we put out some videos earlier in the season. Earlier a couple of weeks ago, over a month ago, some time ago, talking about Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, Ohio State. And there was even a couple of videos I made that I didn't put out. What's good, Johnny Bolton? Yeah. So time for good food, good football, and good friends once again. So now tomorrow, we're going to talk about a little bit of college football. That has already happened, and that's USC versus San Jose State. As you can imagine, USC absolutely blew the doors off of San Jose State, 56-28. But as usual, that classic Lincoln Riley defense showed up, so they they allowed a nobody team to put up way more points than they should have. Notre Dame absolutely put a stomping on Navy. They held Navy to something like ridiculously short yardage. Navy was like a top 5 rushing team last year. Really kind of interested to see how that's going to pan out. Other teams really didn't matter other than Vandy somehow managed to sneak past Hawaii. I don't know what's happening there. Yeah. Johnny Bolton has the right idea. So does Michael Porter. He says, y'all hit the like button. That's how we defeat the YouTube algorithm and we get our voices out. That's how we get the channel to grow, only through you guys. So much appreciate you guys that do that, help the channel grow, become smarter, better, faster, stronger. So that being the case, we're going to talk about Thursday football, which is tomorrow. There is a couple of games on here you may want to watch. I want to see the Utah beat the ever-living brakes off of the Florida Gators. Guys, this isn't even going to be close. For those out there who thinking this is going to be a close game, it's not. Utah is going to absolutely wail on Florida. Apparently, though, the Florida Gators did not see the memo that they already have their own dance team called the Dazzlers. So you Florida football players, you don't have to dance at your own show. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. So those of you who want a good laugh, go check that out. It is absolutely hilarious. So, switch that up a little bit. I like that a little better. Oh, wait a minute. What do we got? Oh, let's see. Behind the scenes there. Behind the scenes view. Hashtag professional. What's up, Matt Dummett? Yeah, the Dan Mullen left Florida, but the clown show continues. Texas faces seasoned veteran JT Daniels, who is in his 8th season and on his 9th different team. There may be some truth to that. There may be some truth to that. What's up, Crimson Brave? Thank you so much for being here, sir. Appreciate you being here. That was strange. That dance was strange. They didn't even have good music. So yeah, there's that. So there is something I do want to share with you guys. We are going to talk about the schedule. But tomorrow, Thursday, the Utah Florida game comes on at 8 o'clock. So everybody should be home. It's going to be played in Utah. So it's going to be it's going to be a night game. The weather's probably going to be pretty nice out there. We'll see how it does. But I'm betting Utah by 20 points. Utah by 20. That's nothing else here really you want to watch. Maybe you want to tune in and watch UCF play Kent State. Maybe, but that's going to be about it. All the games start at 7. Last game starts at 10. You got some 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and a 10 o'clock game that nobody's going to watch. Friday, Georgia Tech versus Louisville, probably going to be the only game you want to watch there. That comes on at 7:30. Something to watch while you're maybe opening that first cold one of the evening, or maybe your second or third one. Is how it starts at 7:30. And then we get into the Saturday lineup. We'll talk some more about the Saturday lineup here in just a minute. There's some other things I want to go over first. So I think Florida is so bad, Slim Shady Canes, that anybody could beat Florida handily. So we don't know. My man said Utah by 30. 30 plus. I like it. So for those of you who don't know, I am not a big fan of treating people with disrespect, treating people like they are, I won't say maybe disposable, but maybe a little less than valuable, or you've had an opportunity to see if they're quality or not. And so if you get an opportunity, go watch the way Deion Sanders talked to the team when he first came in. And then, I really didn't like that. Don't have anything against Deion up until that point. He played for the Falcons. Absolutely electric football player. But when I saw that, I was very upset. I just did not appreciate the way he had talked to those players. And so when anything pops up now, he has really set the bar high for himself. And if he doesn't perform to an elite standard, I wonder if he's going to be able to point that high-powered critiquing mentality against himself. Looking at the fact that there's a lot of people out there that have actually looked at this and said, hey, you guys' roster, you may have the worst roster in the country. And that comes from ESPN analysts, not just me. Mark Schlabach took shots at Deion Sanders last week. Another ESPN analyst went out of his way to say the Colorado Buffaloes might have the worst football roster. You thought UMass was the worst roster in college football? It may be Colorado. To wit, of course, Deion Sanders has to clap back and say, have you been here to see any of the talent live? No, sir. No, nobody has seen them play against anybody except themselves in practice. And considering you have about half of the players that you normally should have, it's hard to gauge whether or not you have the talent on the field enough to gauge your own talent. So, yeah. So, for me, when I see stuff like that, I'm sorry, Deion, you jumped out there and you kind of ran off at the mouth. You're the only coach I know. Here, I'll show this. This to me is kind of the embodiment of one of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of Deion Sanders. Now, those of you who don't watch much college football, I won't say college football. Those of you who don't pay attention to coaches very close or have had a coach of your own, you may not notice this, but players do. Do you notice that Deion Sanders is wearing a either platinum or gold chain with a gold whistle? And also, you may want to notice that the whistle is backwards, but it may be on a swivel, but I digress. Why would you wear a gold chain and a gold whistle? That doesn't really seem to be, I don't know, putting the right message out there. This seems to be more monetarily focused rather than focusing on the the athletes. This is what they call a look at me item. Yeah, look at me, look at me, look at me. Well, congratulations, Dion. Everybody's looking at you. And if you don't perform over the top, you're going to get absolutely annihilated, my dude. It's not going to be pretty. Not to mention that if you can't take a little bit of critique before the season starts that says uh, Colorado may have the worst roster in college football, which may actually be true. None of these players have had an opportunity to really melt together other than what they've seen in the offseason. You have basically zero returning players. I think the turnover thing on the roster was like 75%. I may be wrong. Somebody can correct me on that down in the comment section. But the problem is that you've just shown everybody how easy it is to get Deion Sanders off of focusing on what he should focus on. He shouldn't care about what ESPN says. He shouldn't care about what College Game Day says, Sports Illustrated, Athlon. He shouldn't care about any of it. All he should be caring about doing is getting this team to at least 4 wins. And guys, I don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull up Colorado's schedule this season. We're going to go over it real quick. And we're going to show you why this is a tough schedule for them to win 4 games or more in. So here we go. First off, their season doesn't start off with a cupcake. It just don't. This is a schedule that they're going to have to contend with. This may be a little bit difficult to see, but you guys will let's see if we can get a little bit bigger. There we go. So they started the season off with TCU. TCU is going to skull drag Colorado. They just are. It's not going to be pretty. TCU is going to be out for blood. They just played in a national championship and really got embarrassed. You don't think they're not looking for the first opportunity to pound someone into the sand? And they sure as heck ain't going to let Colorado beat a team that beat them after playing Georgia. Oh, no. That is not going to happen. And they're playing at TCU. Those fans are going to show up. Colorado doesn't really have enough fans to even think about traveling to this game to create an impact. So I got to tell you, this is going to be a loss. This is a loss. Then Nebraska. Now, while Nebraska hadn't been great, I'm going to say, hey, maybe you can pull that off. Maybe 50-50. So I'll give you a 50-50 ball here. Maybe you beat Nebraska. I doubt it, but maybe you beat Nebraska. Well, okay. Then let's say you go ahead and you beat Colorado State. So now you have a winning record so far. You're 2-1, and then it starts. You're going to get absolutely mollywopped by Oregon. You are going to get donkey stomped by USC. While Lincoln Riley may not have the greatest defense on the planet, he can put together an offense. There is no doubt. He will hang 60 points on Colorado, and now you're at a losing record. Now you're 2-3. You're going to go to Arizona State. Arizona State's going to beat you. Stanford's going to beat you. You might beat UCLA. So I'll give you your third win here. You're going to lose to Oregon. If I'm going to give you a 50-50 ball on Nebraska, I'm going to give you a 50-50 ball on Arizona and say you lose that game. And then Washington State's going to beat you like a drum, and Utah's certainly going to beat you like a drum. You'd be lucky to win 4 games here. And that's if you win some of the 50-50 games. What's up, Derek? What's up, Pastor Dave? What's up, K-Dog? Now, there's going to be a problem here that if they lose a couple of these 50-50 games, they might end the season with just 2 wins, guys. I think if you're going to be braggadocious, and I think if you're going to say all the things that you said before about those other players, when you bring in your players and you still can't succeed, I'm going to say it's not the players. This is your first time coaching in a big Power 5 conference. This isn't Jackson State. This is big boy football. You don't have the roster to compete. If they catch two or three injuries, their whole team will fold up. I mean, they don't have any depth. There's zero depth. If a team like Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan and Clemson can all get up there and say, we've got a few spots we're really dinged up in, and we're really thin at these positions. What do you think Colorado State has? I don't know. I think that there's a lot of fans out there that are cheering for Colorado State, and that's fine. People like an underdog, but it's hard for me to cheer for anybody like that whenever they talk to those players the way he did. Sorry. So, that having been said, if you want to watch that game, the reason I bring that up kind of right out of the gate is because it is one of the noon games. Now, keep in mind, at noon, we've got 5 teams out of the top 25 that are playing at noon. So you've got some big names out there, but they're all playing a bunch of nobodies, right? So you got Michigan playing East Carolina. Oh, Lord. You got Tennessee playing Virginia. Oh, Lord. TCU playing Colorado. Oh, Lord. Oklahoma versus Arkansas State. Good heavens. And then you've got Iowa, probably one of the best defenses in the country over a 5 or 10 year period combined, playing Utah State. Heavens to Betsy. And you've got Kentucky playing Ball State. Kentucky's not ranked in the top 25, but they are playing at noon, and that's probably going to be a better game than any of the other ones you're going to watch. But if you want to see a killing at lunchtime, tune in to the TCU game. What's going on, Tennille? Hoghead, how you doing? Appreciate y'all being here. Then let's see. You know what I could do, guys, instead of just talking about it? I could actually be a pretty decent host here and actually show you guys what I'm looking at. Not that you can read it because the screen's kind of small, but that's okay. We'll go with it anyway. So, what is going on here? There we go. Then you got Oregon at 3:00. Excuse me. You can back up and watch Mercer play. Ole Miss at 2:00. Then you can watch Oregon play Portland at 3:00. Boo. Washington, Boise State, Ohio State versus Indiana, Texas versus Rice, Notre Dame versus Tennessee State, Wisconsin versus Buffalo. Oh my goodness, there's just really nothing good. I mean, it's good because it's college football. It's really not that good. I might be interested in seeing what Pitt's going to do to Wofford. But, Georgia versus UT Martin. Guys. What in the world is going on over at the Dad Blame College Football syndicated television show? The heck y'all doing? Y'all gonna go out here. Look, guys, look. Here we go. 6:00 game. Here's your 6:00 games. Georgia, Martin, UT Martin. Charlotte, South Carolina State. Florida Atlantic, Monmouth, or however you say it. Georgia Southern, the Citadel. Oh, Lord. They still have a team. James Madison, Bucknell. I can't tell if that's football teams or clothing brands. Marshall, Albany, USC, and USC and Nevada at 6:30, and Florida National and Maine at 6:30. There's no teams playing worth a dang at 6:00 that is better than watching Georgia play. None. But for some reason, we can't seem to figure out how to bump Mississippi State and Southeast Louisiana off even the SEC regular network. Oh, no. Georgia got to play on an SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. What is this garbage? What is this garbage? Hey, Fox Sport or Fox FS1, whatever you are. Nobody wants to watch Wisconsin. Nobody cares about Wisconsin. If you're a Wisconsin fan, you'll be the first one I've seen on my channel. Y'all gonna put this trash on the main network and then kick Georgia off of the main network. That's all right. Notice y'all found a way to put Alabama on the SEC network, huh? Imagine that. We're just gonna absolutely obliterate Middle Tennessee. Penn State versus West Virginia. North Carolina versus South Carolina might be one of the better games of the day. Tulane versus South Alabama. Old Green Wave, man. But that's really it for your Saturday games. I mean, there's some okay games to watch. You watch some of your favorite teams. Maybe you get a taste of what Alabama can do. You get to watch a little bit of Ohio State sling the ball around, Michigan sling the ball around, see what Georgia does with a new quarterback. Watch USC again, see if their defense improves. See if Texas A&M is a complete dumpster fire as it was last year. I mean, you can look at all those things, but this is just the best game of the week. The best game of the week is going to be LSU versus Florida State. Absolutely going to be LSU versus Florida State. At least they put that on ABC. Sometimes these people in these networks, man, make me scratch my head. Make me absolutely scratch my head. So let's look at this game a minute. So here we got stop screen. So let's look at LSU versus FSU. Guys, I don't know what else to tell y'all. If you are picking FSU to win this game, you have lost your mind. Lost it. Lost it entirely. Last season, they let Florida score 38 points on them. What are y'all doing? We're talking about an LSU team that has some of the best football players in all of college football right now, who is on a high from last year's schedule. Let me pull up the full team schedule last year so you guys can see it. Look, guys. Yeah. They lost Florida State first game of the season. They hung 30 points on Georgia. Almost nobody's done that. Texas A&M put together a heck of a game. They just did, and LSU played like trash. It just is what it is. But if you look at most of their games, man, they welted on people. They hanging 35, 40 something points. You go back and you look at FSU. FSU last year, look at these losses. Mainly the ranked teams. When they played ranked teams, they lost. Look at this. How you going to almost lose to Louisville? This team is not gonna be ready. Not gonna be ready for what LSU is about to bring to their doorstep. Just not gonna be ready. Quarterback Jordan Travis is back. That was around 65%. 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Been sacked quite a bit. They're still hanging big points on. Most of them sacks came in the Georgia game, by the way, just so you know. What's going on, Cool Breeze? Hey, I got some members in here. If you guys want to support the channel, you can go down and sign up and become a member today. Support the channel. We also have a little bit of merchandise down there. We got to update that stuff. But guys, those of you that support the channel, especially in the off season, you guys are great. We really appreciate you. It helps so much. You guys don't even realize how much it helps. So if you guys want to support the channel, you can go down and become a member. A couple of different levels you can choose from. Whatever you feel like is great. We appreciate everybody that helps out, and it does really help keep the channel going. So that having been said, guys, Florida State, yeah, this is what they got. Now let's go look at LSU real quick. Let me show you something. Go to stats. This is a guy they got coming back. Almost a 70% completion percentage. And sacked a lot, but 70% completion percentage, he's going to eat FSU alive, guys. Going to eat FSU alive. FI game tomorrow. Are you talking about Florida game tomorrow? What? Yeah, I mean, we are going to watch Florida game tomorrow. But if you are a college football fan and you want to watch the Georgia game, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can get YouTube TV. You can sign up. I think you can sign up. I think there's a free trial for like ESPN Plus for like 7 or 8 days or something like that. You can sign up for that. I think YouTube TV also does a 30-day trial, so that may be worth looking into. And one of the big reasons illegally stream it, right? There's people that do that. There are people that do that. I will be doing halftime updates, and I usually do the last few minutes of the game as well. But I expect this game to be a blowout. I mean, I'm not going to be sitting on the edge of my seat, and if I am, I'm going to be very upset that I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. Georgia has a lot of talent and a lot of opportunity. I'm really interested to see how Carson Beck's going to do. I think he'll do really well. Oh, you can also listen to the radio podcast. That is true. I'm going to open up the stream for just a little bit, guys. We're not going to have a long show tonight, mainly because there's not a whole lot to really get into. But if you guys want to join the show, we'll give it a few minutes. If you guys are interested, great. If not, I'm going to head out quick. So if you want to jump in, you better jump in. Oh, Georgia Bulldog says, I'll be at Sanford Stadium. If you wasn't, sir, I'd be offended. Brad Pitt says, Brett, what you think about Eric's recent dust-up? I think there's a reason why he didn't play in most of the places that he went to. I also think if you're going to break into a place, get in and get out. Don't hang around enjoying the scenery. Beat feet. But if you're going to be dumb, you're going to get caught. Can't do the crime. Can't do the time. Don't do the crime. They'll likely be kicked off the team. That's a felony charge. Folks in Lincoln, Nebraska, there ain't nothing them cops do in Lincoln, Nebraska. They got a fast response time. All the roads are laid out on grid squares, guys. I'm not even joking. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up Lincoln, Nebraska map. Yay. Maps. So as a man who lived in the state of Nebraska for a while, allow me to pull up the map. It's a map. Okay. Regardless of what you think about a place like Lincoln, Nebraska, there's like only 2 roads in the whole city that like are not straight up and down, left, right, grid map, straight up squares, guys. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it is extremely left, right, up, down. You can't get away. You can't hide. It's very, very, very easy to see where you are. So let's do this. Hey, what's going on, Slim City Games?
I'm willing to argue with anybody about anything in exchange for home stadium.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Zeph? Hey, can you hear me? Zephyroth. Z, are you there, man?
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, man.
Oh, okay.
I am going to send you a light, though, for your desk.
Oh.
Much better. So what's your thoughts on this upcoming season here as we kick off the season there,
When a bowl game.
Miami's after a bowl game. Is that right?
I mean, well, listen. Last year, even for the down years they've had, is kind of an aberration. I mean, that's the first time they haven't made a bowl game since like 07. So that's not a regular occurrence. But my thing with them, to really see the progression to me, is make a bowl game and win it. Because that's been the hard part for them is winning a bowl game.
Yeah, it's but at least you get the big thing about bowl games is you get the extra practices.
Right, which is something I think the team sorely needs. Now, I did get a piece of, I guess we're going to call it good news. Kind of a mixed bag.
Okay.
Apparently none of the quote unquote insiders even got a sniff of this before Mario Cristobal put it out today that Jamel Burrow, the defensive tackle from Alabama, transferred to Miami, has enrolled, and has been practicing with the team for like a week and a half.
That's interesting. What's up, Derek?
Oh, I see. I'm on. Hey, Brett.
How's it going, man?
Good to see you, man. Finally.
Finally, it's time for football to get back started, man.
Is that echo on my end or your end?
It's on your end. It's probably because you have YouTube open and StreamYard open. So click back
Here,
to
let me do it.
tab.
All
What's up,
right,
Gil?
is that better?
Oh yeah, it's much better, man. So if you can actually turn your mic down just a little bit. Web
Yeah, let me
what's up in the heezy, man?
get this going. Here's real quick. All right.
Your mic is still a little bit loud.
All right, give me a second, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Slim Shady's mic is always a little bit low, and if somebody else's is a little bit high, so they turn it up to hear him, and then they get blasted by somebody else. I think Slim plans it that way.
I really don't. I didn't know mine was usually low.
All right, is that better?
It's still loud, but we're good, man. Just roll with it.
Sorry.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work, man. It's all good. We get loud around here anyway, so it's fine. So I'm gonna need all you guys to help me. We're gonna try and get to 10,000 subscribers this season. So we'll see what happens. So
I help you any way I can.
hey, I gotta. So after the show is over, just share it. Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is you guys frequent, just share it on there because that's really one of the things.
I have people I know subscribe to your channel.
And if you stop them in the street, hold them down, make them subscribe before you let them go, man. Whatever it takes.
Oh,
Slim got Britney Spears drive through the
yeah,
headset.
let me exit that out. Maybe that's better.
Do what?
I don't know. Where you at today, Slim?
I'm at home.
Are you at home today?
Yeah, for the moment, till in the morning.
Usually you're on the road.
Yeah, well, tomorrow.
Gotcha. So what do you think is more likely? Alabama goes to the SEC championship, or you got to pick one, or Miami makes a bowl game.
Miami makes a bowl game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I could see both of those happening. To be honest, I'm not buying into. I guess this notion this past offseason that Alabama's falling off the map. We heard all this same talk before Jalen Hurts got the start at Alabama. I think, in my opinion, Nick Saban has earned the benefit of the doubt over the years.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I got a guy that I work with saying that Bama has no chance.
I won't say
Bama
that.
always
have
has
a
a
chance.
chance because they got
Yeah.
Nick Saban.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think if you took Nick Saban and you put him at Colorado right now, he'd still fail.
Well, yeah. I mean, he failed his first year at
Colorado.
Alabama.
Maybe. I mean, say what you want to about Nick Saban, he's still a good coach. You know what I mean? Like, if Alabama was to get rid of him today, like, how many teams would be calling just to try to get him in? You know what I mean?
Saban is legit the second or third greatest college football coach ever. And that can't be underestimated. And that's why I think people are a little foolish trying to write off Alabama this offseason.
Well, I'm one of those people who's actually pretty hard on Alabama this season. And the reason for that is I think that it's okay to give Nick Saban the benefit of the doubt. I think if you don't give him the benefit of the doubt, you could potentially look a little bit foolish. However, I also think that if you are watching what's going on at Alabama, it's not been a up year and then a down year and then an up year and then a down year and an up year and a down year with their defense. So their defense has, in my opinion, slowly declined since 2020. Their defense has gotten consistently worse. Now, 2022, their defense was seemed to be better, but it wasn't what we're used to. I mean, they let Tennessee hang 52 points on them. Now, they let Arkansas hang 26, and that's a lot for supposedly an elite defense. They lost to LSU at 32 points. Ole Miss scored 24, and even Auburn scored 27. So to me, that's not, there's some things there that have to be corrected. If you go back to the 2017 seasons, the 2015 seasons, man, there was a lot of shutouts and a lot of single-digit games. They only had one opponent in 2015 that even broke 20 points. I'll take that back, other than the loss at Ole Miss. But in the games they won, only one opponent scored more than 23 points in the regular season. That was Texas A&M. They were ranked 9th. In 2016, there was one team, believe it or not, it was Arkansas, that scored more than 16 points against them. It's up again for Ole Miss. But everybody else was 16 points or less. Absolutely incredible. And you really don't see that. Last year, Arkansas scored 26, Texas A&M 20, Tennessee 52, LSU 32, Ole Miss 24, Auburn 27, K-State 20. And it's just like, what happened, man? And I think that team last year, at least offensively and maybe even defensively, is better than what they have now. And I think their schedule might be tougher this year. So we'll see what happens.
Now, one thing I will give credence to, and I've said this all off season, one thing you are seeing out of Alabama, and I think specifically towards the defense, and specifically in that Tennessee game, it kind of showed its ugly face. You're seeing a more undisciplined Alabama team than you've ever seen under Nick Saban.
I'd have to agree, because it was some ridiculous number, because us Georgia fans looked it up. They hadn't been called for a holding call in 156 plays. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. Yeah. What team could go 156 plays without a holding call? It was something like, I want to say it was something like 18 or 19 games or something. It was insane. I don't know. It was crazy. I can't remember what the exact numbers were, but I mean, it was something like that. And so when I look at that, and I go back last year, and you look at offsides, holding calls, illegal formations, I mean, it was just what's going on?
Sometimes the refs get flag happy.
Oh, I agree.
They just start throwing them everywhere out of pockets, and you're like, where's it come from? The sky?
Now, some of them I'll overlook. There are plenty of times on defense when pass interferences are absolutely intentional. I mean, you'd rather give up a 15-yard penalty than give up the touchdown. So I can even overlook some of that.
And I can't.
Yeah, that's true.
And one of the other things that
I want to clear something up real quick, Brett, because apparently I triggered some Alabama fan.
That's easy to do.
And Texas Rocks tried clarifying. No, Nick Saban is not the greatest coach of all time. He has a solid argument for second, maybe third. But no, Nick Saban is not the greatest coach of all time. Tom Osborne is.
I was gonna say Woody Hayes, but that's just me.
You're gonna say Tom Osborne from Nebraska?
Yes.
I'd love to hear this argument.
Tom Osborne put teams in national championship games in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Nick Saban's win totals are not near Tom Osborne's. They're not near Bobby Bowden's. They're not near Joe Paterno's. If you want to look strictly at national titles, okay, but I call people to say that Tom Brady's the best because he's got 7 Super Bowls dumb too. That's part of the argument, yes, but it's not the whole argument.
Well, that's like, and I know I'm going to stir some people up with this one, but it's like people trying to say LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan.
We all know that is false.
Yeah, that's far fetched.
The moment that you tell me that you think LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, you just told me you don't know anything about basketball, and you don't know anything about Michael Jordan.
Now listen,
Michael
I'm not.
Jordan's got more rings than LeBron does, so
Jordan's also undefeated. Jordan also played in a harder era to do what he did. I mean, it took James Harden. This was like 5-6 years ago. Almost averaged what Jordan did in a season in an era that it's easier to do it in. So
well, if there's all of the greats have had this interview. Kobe Bryant, Muggsy Bogues, Chris Mullin, Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, Clyde Drexler, Patrick Ewing, all of those guys. You talk to those guys and you say, with today's rules, with the no contact, no hand checking and all that, how do you think Michael Jordan would do? Most of them have said he would average 45 to 50 points a game.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go back years ago to whenever I watched Michael Jordan play against Shaq. Okay?
I saw that too.
Do you know what their strategy became? To foul Michael Jordan every chance they got. That was their plan, was to foul out a player to keep Michael Jordan from going to the basket because Shaq could not stop him. One of the most dominant, aggressive basketball players of all time could not stop Michael Jordan. Yeah. Michael Jordan shot 28 points from the three. Yeah.
And you put aside basketball for a minute. Michael Jordan had a better Space Jam movie than LeBron did.
Michael Jordan.
I don't know if any of you guys ever saw that, but that movie's terrible.
100% he did.
I didn't see it.
I haven't watched it. I heard it was terrible.
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time.
Don't worry.
I'll stick with Michael Jordan. He makes the movie so much better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
To me, there's two things that really stand out as far as what really makes the difference. Number one, hand checking. LeBron didn't have to deal with it. Jordan did. And number two, LeBron flops more than a soccer player. And he wouldn't need to against those Pistons teams because Dennis Rodman would have knocked his ass halfway across the court.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you like this. You can look at all of the stats that Michael Jordan has in the NBA. But here's something I bet you don't know. Michael Jordan has 1 NFL touchdown, and LeBron James does not.
When did Michael Jordan get a touchdown?
If you don't believe me, you can Google it right now. Michael Jordan has
I didn't say I don't believe you. I just never heard that he actually scored a touchdown before. Was it in like a real game or?
It's a real game. Absolutely, it's a real game.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he played on football too. I thought it was this baseball and basketball.
That's what I thought too.
He's trolling you guys.
I am not. Okay. Watch this then. All right. Watch your screen. Watch your screen.
We're all watching.
Read the title. What does the title say?
Oh,
he's right.
Wow.
I am right.
I
I
guys
told you I was
lying?
right.
That's really surprising. Wow.
What's going
The
on,
more you know.
gentlemen?
See,
Michael
Jordan is back scoring for Carolina. January 8th, 2023.
Wait, that happened at the start of the year?
2023.
Yeah. You want to watch the play? Here we go.
Oh, man, you talking about.
Hubbard won't get it. Darnold does.
Hey, you're not talking about
The
the
ball
Michael
came out.
Jordan.
Now was he over the goal line?
The ball came out.
He had already crossed the plane. It doesn't matter after that.
It looks like a touchdown for Carolina.
That's
Great.
it. Don't believe me. You go look it up. Michael Jordan has a touchdown. LeBron James does not.
To answer your question, Gil, well, I don't think anybody throws Barry Switzer into that conversation because Barry Switzer didn't really have to do it. He took over Jimmy Johnson's teams. But Jimmy Johnson and Pete Carroll are in a league of their own because they're the only guys
Pete Carroll
that win
for
at
sure,
both
yeah.
levels.
Yeah, Pete Carroll for sure, dude.
That to me, Carroll and Jimmy Johnson are by themselves because nobody else has won a championship at both levels other than those two.
Pete Carroll wrote a book that you should read his book. It's absolutely incredible. Well, guys, I don't mean to cut you off, but we're gonna cut it off a little bit early tonight. Not a whole lot going on in the college football thing, and I'm about an hour in anyway. So,
Hey, Brian, real quick, man, before you go, I just want to know your thoughts on them getting rid of the 2-minute rule. Whenever you get a first down, the clock stops. They got rid of that this season.
well,
I just want to know your thoughts on it, man. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, or?
I think it could be a great thing. And the reason behind that is, I think that when you're looking at teams that, when you're a team like Georgia or you're a team like Alabama most years or a Clemson or an Ohio State or a Michigan, you don't wear your team out playing nobody teams. So, like, if you're out there playing UT Martin, instead of having to play 60 snaps, you're playing 40 or 45.
That's just not true, Brett. We've already seen it. You can sum up this rule change in one word: pointless.
Okay.
It might take, on the high end, it might take 10 plays out of a game.
Yeah, that's why I said you go from like 60 to like 45-ish.
Yeah, it definitely shortens the game. Like when I was watching Navy and Notre Dame, that game went by really quickly. Surprising.
And that was still over a 3.5-hour game.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah,
How
it
it
didn't
goes.
feel like one.
Vandy and Hawaii was still
Night's
right
meal.
there knocking on a 4-hour game.
Well,
All they did was add more commercials. That's the thing. The
Probably.
NCAA is trying to fix a problem they created.
Yeah.
probably. They could have cut the commercials, but they ain't going to do that.
No, they ain't gonna do that.
But it don't matter, right? Because this is the last year of the 4-team playoff. So next year, what it goes to 10 teams, right? 10 or 12?
12.
We got 12.
Wow. So Ohio
here.
State and Georgia is going to be in the playoffs every single year now after this year. So eventually we are going to play each other again, and it won't be rival.
Here's what they just did. Here's what they just did, whether they want to realize it or not. They just guaranteed at least 2 teams from the SEC almost every single year, and potentially as many as 4. Because if you look at last year, you would have put in Georgia. You would have put in most likely LSU. You very likely could have put in Alabama, and you could have made an argument for Tennessee. So,
I mean, that's going to vary by year, though. I mean,
right. But I said that's why most years you're going to get at least 2.
Look at 16 through 18. You would have had 3 to 4 ACC teams. So that stuff's going to vary by year.
Yep. Well, I mean, when you're talking, when you got to put 12 teams in there. Oh Lord, I mean, you're reaching now, because let's say last year it would have been Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, TCU, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson. Okay, I'm at 9. I still got 3 more I got to pick. Utah, maybe Oregon.
Yep.
You still got another team. You still got two more teams to pick.
I would have to look up the rankings from then. Florida State might have been right up there too.
Yeah, I mean that's just it's, and we've already determined that the I won't say talent, but I'll say the capability level between 1 and 2 versus, we'll say 1, 2, maybe 3, and then 4 to 10. The difference between 3 and 4 is a huge gap. The difference between 4 and 10 is bigger than the gap between 3 and 4. So
Well,
you're looking.
I
Go ahead.
know you're trying to get off, so I'll leave you with this. Wait until people absolutely lose their minds when you have a 3-loss national champion.
Oh,
That doesn't even play in their conference championship.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will happen.
So last year, the rankings at the end of last year. No, let me
kind of
go
takes
to-
away from the regular season games, too.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to week 13 of last year, okay? And I'm going to read the teams off to you. This is the teams that would have been in the playoff last year. Because this would have been right after the SEC championship, right? You'd have Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, LSU, USC, Alabama, Clemson, Oregon, Tennessee, Penn State, K-State with the 3 losses, by the way, and Washington. Does anybody in this room think that number 8, any of the 8 through 12, had any chance at beating the top 3?
Nope.
No.
I mean, that's like them putting Notre Dame into the playoffs. Like, every time they went in, they got blown out.
Yeah.
And we don't really want to see blowout games, you know. That's probably what we're going to get with this 12-team playoffs. A bunch of under schools that are trying to act big, and then they get blown out of the stadium. And then nobody's going to watch by halftime. But
Well, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, you look at how hard it is to get just the top 4 to be quality. If you look at 2021, when Georgia played
Michigan.
Cincinnati, right? And Alabama played Ohio State. Wasn't close. Let me go to the hold on. That's not right. That's not right. Georgia played Michigan and body bagged them.
Yeah.
Alabama played Cincinnati and body bagged them, and that was 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4 or something like that. It was absolute destruction. So when you're talking the top 4 teams can blow each other out like that, you're going to see TCU versus Georgia every year. Every year you're going to see something like that. Somebody's going to get absolutely embarrassed.
yep.
But it is what it is. All right,
It's
guys.
going to be when the season starts.
Yep. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I really appreciate you guys being on. Thanks so much for tuning in.
No problem,
listeners-
man. Support your channel. Love your content, man. Keep doing your thing.
Will do, man. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Oh,
you
no
guys,
problem,
both
man.
of you. So we'll see you guys real soon. You guys know what we do around here. We'll catch up some more on Saturday. You guys have a great day.
All right.
God bless.
Go Bucks.